let's move forward here with our next story. So we got word this past week that that AMC will definitively be opening its doors on 8/20, and so we return to the theaters, as one might say. Except for not I, maybe for Tenet. I don't know. We'll see. I've yet to come down exactly where I'll be for that, and also too, half the world's basically going to see Tenet before before America does. So it's kind of like, all right, maybe we missed the boat on that one. This is the centennial year for AMC. So AMC is actually technically turning 100 years old in 2020. So because of that, they are returning ticket prices to what they were back then, which was 15 cents. So that's how much these films are going to cost to get into. I'll read directly here from Business Wire. As part of AMC's centennial celebration, all AMC U.S. theater locations that open on August 20 will offer all available seats for all movies that day for the 1920s admission price of 20 cents each. But basically they're like, that doesn't, they're going to limit the amount of seats because they're not crazy, but all the seats that are available, they're going to offer for 15 cents. And so AMC will resume theater operations at more than 100 U.S. locations on the 20th, August 20th. Approximately 300 additional AMC locations around the country are expected to open during the following 2 weeks, leading to the release of Disney's The New Mutants on August 28th and Warner Brothers' Tenet on September 3rd. AMC Safe and Clean, developed under close cooperation with public health and safety experts to stringently enforce all those sort of, cleaning, whatever they're going to do at basically all of their theaters. So
great story, right? They're 100 years later. We're gonna go back to our
Isn't
roots.
This a crazy ass 100-year? Like they're like, yo, we're gearing up for 100 years. Yo, we here.
This is the worst. Like at least when the NFL turned 100, I believe it was in 2019.
It was 2019. Yeah, they just missed it.
2019. I don't know if you remember 2019. I remember it. I miss it very much. It was a good year.
It was a year. It was a year.
Yeah, I mean compared to 2020, 2019 was the shit.
That's very true.
So they're turning 100. Going back to their roots, but I think this is also a bit of when you got a lot of money, you spend more money, and you learn to live with that, right, within those means, right? If you're making $100,000 a year, you're living $100,000 a year lifestyle. When when COVID-19 happens and you got to shut down business, and now you're making $20,000 a year, you eventually learn to live on $20,000 a year, right?
Perhaps.
So AMC was like, we were making bread. We were selling tickets. We were selling popcorn. You had to get it from us. If you wanted the new shit, you came to us. Then they shut down all theaters. They're like, please come back. We miss you very much.
Writing you letters and shit. Like,
sending you text messages. AMC like, hey, big head, you up? So now they're like, listen,
no AMC, I'm not up.
15 cents. Please come and see a movie. Please fucking show up. But again, it's a great story, right? But I think at the end of the day, this is it's a timely prop or campaign that they could run right now. It ties into their 100th year, and it's a soft commitment, or it's a soft campaign to see what the appetite is for people to return. Like, hey, we're 15 cents, just come check it out, see how comfortable you feel, and maybe from there we can gauge what the appetite is for people actually returning to the theaters.
Yeah, I actually wanted to look this up before we started, but I didn't get a chance to. But I wanted to see how long this is actually going to last, because I highly doubt this is not going to last until
the 15 cents thing?
Yeah, the 15 cents.
I thought it was just for the day.
Well, that would be silly, because literally they're not showing anything worth seeing until the 21st, which is
even if they do, and here's what they might do. They may just say, oh, it's a 1 day thing, and then the next week, oh shit, we're going to continue this. We had such great success with it, which really just means no one showed up, so we've got to continue this thing. But
maybe they're being a little mum on it because they're like, well, let's see how it goes first, and then and then if they come back in droves, all right, we'll hike those prices. Right back
it's
up.
like when Big Burger King dropped the Junior Whopper. You're like, it was like 20 years ago. They were like, for a limited time only, you can get the Junior Whopper at Burger King. 20 years later, they're like, for a limited time only. It's like Burger King. You've been running these commercials for 20 years. It's not for a limited time. It's forever. Just keep it on the menu.
It's not the McRib, first off. But okay, I thought this was a good opportunity to talk about some of the movies that are actually, like, what the actual schedule is going to be for movies coming up. And so on the 21st, we get Unhinged, which is the Russell Crowe movie that precisely nobody's going to try to watch because, why try to risk your life for Russell Crowe
for a movie about road rage?
Yeah, with a plus size Russell Crowe.
Yeah,
feels like that's not
not
that's
sexy.
Not a good look. So then you have Train to Busan or Busan. I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, but presents Peninsula, and then you have Cutthroat City, Words of Bathroom Walls, and then Inception will be returning to theaters for its 10th anniversary event. Which is interesting because they're not technically, but people are saying that Tenet is somehow in the Inception universe, that they're somehow sort of linked.
Yeah,
which is an interesting thing, and Christopher Nolan is kind of feeding into those rumors by having or Christopher Nolan and I guess Warner Brothers in this case are
showing it again in theaters.
In theaters, so it's like maybe it's a wink and a nod to maybe the fact that it is. But on August 28th, next week, we get New Mutants, which I guarantee you people are going to want to go watch. That this movie has been in the pipeline for forever, and so and then also too, it's going to be like the first movie that. It's so ironic. Christopher Nolan thought he was going to be the one to welcome everybody back to theaters with Tenet, and it's going to be this big. And it's like, no, let's New Mutants, X-Men spinoff that is definitely going to be a one-off shoot. Nobody should really want to see this ordinarily. It should be kind of just like, all right, let's just get this out of the way so they can introduce people into the Marvel universe.
Did you see when they released the first 2 minutes of New Mutants? You saw it?
Yeah, it's really good.
Underwhelming.
Really? For you?
There's nothing about this movie that makes me would even remotely want to go to a theater and sit down and watch it.
Yeah, I'm not confident that I feel good about going out to the theater to watch this. So, but anyways, and then of all things, you have Personal History of David Copperfield, which also premieres on the 28th.
Ballsy.
Yeah.
That needs to be pushed straight to VOD.
And then on September 3rd, we have Tenet, which comes out, and I think at that point it's already been released internationally.
Yeah,
I want to say. And then on the September 18th, we have The Kingsman along with War with Grandpa, which The Kingsman is, I think, the prequel supposed to be, I guess, to The Kingsman, which is or The Kingsman. I'm getting this wrong. The King's Man is a prequel to Kingsman, which is
tells the story of the first Kingsman.
Yeah. And then we have again War with Grandpa, which comes out on the 18th. So good luck to Robert De Niro.
Like I said, he got paid up front, so he's good.
Yeah. We're back.
So
at least for the time being.
When Tenet comes out, all right, right now today, if they start selling tickets for September 3rd to see Tenet, would you buy a ticket? Non-refundable.
I'd buy the ticket. Not knowing if I'd actually go through with it or not.
Yeah.
Because I don't, one thing obviously there's going to be
$20 tickets, IMAX only.
Yeah.
And you'd have to buy two for you and your lady, of course.
I mean, she might not want to go see it, so I might walk out there. I don't know.
But you'd buy a $20 non-refundable ticket today, just in case.
I think I'd have to. I think I wouldn't be doing my due diligence for the podcast, for all the shit, if I just was like, nah, I'll see that on VOD. Because, who knows when it's going to, 3 months from now, it's going to come out on VOD. And so, and also those seats are clearly going to be limited. So it's like, I'd rather not risk it, I guess, and buy it and just be like, all right, I'll make that call. Let me hear how that first 2 weeks goes. Because I think it's I think it's 2 weeks before.
If there was ever a time for the bootleg DVD man who used to sell at the barbershops to come back.
But this is what the problem though is that it's being released internationally. So when you say the bootleg man, that is actually some real shit, because it's going to be pirated like a motherfucker before the movie actually comes out in theaters.
I need that link. Listen, I love and respect Christopher Nolan and everything he's doing, but I'm not going to the theaters to see Tenet in September, so I need that link.
There you go.
If you're a fan of the Fade podcast, be sure to drop that link in our direct messages.
Direct messages, because if you posted it, they might try to find you. I don't know. So yeah, we're back to the theaters with AMC. We'll see how long this lasts. I don't, you know, one thing I'm really interested in, one thing we haven't talked about on this podcast is locally here in Baltimore, what all the theaters are doing, right? Like I rode my bike past the Charles the other day, and I was like, fuck, like what's going on with the Charles right now? What kind of shape is the Charles in, you know? Because, you know, clearly they've been closed.
Now they got into the business of human trafficking, probably. Terribly dark joke. But they're using that space for something. Amazon's got packages in there. Drug dealers, that's where all the drugs are being distributed through Baltimore cities right now.
Yeah, you'd have to assume. All right, let's